Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. So, Joe Biden has announced that he is going to give, not sell, give Ukraine 31 M1 tanks. Give as in you're paying for it. All right, so then you've got Germany that has agreed to send 14 Leopard 2s, and I think Poland is going to send another 14 Leopard 2s, and the UK is going to send 14 Challenger 2s to Ukraine. All right, so what's that? A grand total here. So if these numbers are accurate, then that comes out to a grand total of 73 main battle tanks that are being sent to Ukraine. Let's take a look at some technical numbers here. I'm just going to go through the technical aspects of this very quickly. If you want something more in detail, I do refer you to the New Atlas, Alexander Mercouris, and the Duran. They go into the technical details a lot more extensively than I'm going to. But, okay, so let's start off with this. A tank battalion, a tank company has 14 tanks. There are four companies in a battalion, so 56 tanks in a battalion. A brigade is made up of four companies. Four battalions. So that's 224 tanks. That's not counting command and support or replacement vehicles, things held in reserve, etc. But 224 tanks. So we're sending less than, from all different sources, we're sending less than one brigade. All these countries together are sending less than one brigade. Germany has said that Rheinmetall has said that they can send 129 or 139 Leopard 2s, but not before late spring, early summer. And keep in mind, all of these tanks that are being sent there are refurbished. Think about it like buying a certified used car. Yeah, it's been refurbished, but it is not brand new. It's not going to last as long. It's not going to take the same stresses and so forth. Anyway, let's go into a different aspect here. I've talked before about each one of these needs different training for the crew. Each one has a 4-man crew, so you're going to have to train 4-man crews on at least 3 different systems. Then you've got often incompatible ammunition between them. The Challenger 2 has a rifle barrel. It takes its own special ammunition, which cannot be used in an M1 or a Leopard. Then you've got different parts that are incompatible. You've got training for repair and support, which is incompatible. So you have to train all these different people and know an aircraft jet engine mechanic is not going to know how to work on an M1 jet engine, turbine engine. And an aircraft engine does not hook up to a hydraulic system that drives a transmission and a turret and all this stuff. And M1s burn up a notorious amount of fuel. You have to have a constant supply chain of fuel going behind against M1s. So you have to keep the M1s in a combined area, which just makes them more of a target. These things don't also operate by themselves. They've got their supply logistics and then coordinated weaponry, armored personnel carriers, self-propelled howitzers, et cetera, et cetera. It is coordinated. Some people have said that, you can train somebody for a few days and they can operate an M1 tank. And no, you cannot. No, after months of training, specialists have been known to lose a limb from doing something or breaking major components from doing something improperly. So no, you don't just, do this. You don't just train somebody for a few days, throw them into one of these tanks that cost millions of dollars, and just send them off to the front lines. I want to look at other aspects of logistics here, though. One of the biggest concerns with sending an M1 tank to Ukraine is the weight. The M1 alone is heavier than any of the previous tanks that Ukraine had before. The old Soviet tanks that they had at the beginning of this conflict. Well, their infrastructure, it's highly questionable whether their infrastructure, which they haven't been spending money on for decades, especially since 2014, will handle the weight. So you think about taking these things and driving them across old, unmaintained bridges. You start driving these things across these bridges that have not been maintained and may have been subjected to, aerial attacks and so forth. So they've got damage. You drive a tank across it and the bridge collapses. Well, you just killed a tank crew, and any tanks that are, and equipment and supplies and so forth behind them are stuck. They're not making it to the front line, period. So you've killed people and you've just destroyed your own supply route, your route to the front. So how much help is that going to be? And trust me, Russia is watching where these things are going to be coming into the country and where they're going to be, warehoused until they're sent to the front. And they've already shown that they can hit targets in western Ukraine. So, and then you've got repairs. Right now, Russia has been hitting supply and repair depots in Ukraine, so their heavy equipment, like tanks, are going to have to be transported all the way over to Poland to be repaired. And that even goes for the howitzers. If one of these things breaks down and is unable to move on their own, then you've got another problem. This is part of the support issue. You don't just hook up a tow truck to one of these. Let me go to the weight issue. All right, so an M1 tank weighs 55 tons. All right, so it's questionable whether the infrastructure will support that weight. What does a Leopard 2 weigh? No, 62.5 British or European tons, international. So 62 tons. What does a Challenger 2 weigh? Oh, 64 tons. All right, so, I mean, all of these are just probably way too heavy for the infrastructure. So, like I said, no, you're not going to hook up a tow truck to this and tow it over to, Poland for repairs, if it can be repaired at all. You have to have another armored vehicle, a support recovery vehicle, to tow it. So now that recovery vehicle can only tow one at a time. The speed is like 38 kilometers an hour. Let's go 50 at tops. So you're going to take 20 hours. That would be on flat, dry land. So if you got flat, dry land from the front line, good luck with that, all the way to Poland. You got a 20-hour non-stop drive. And then you got the repair time. All right. Then the recovery vehicle has to go back and pick up another one, and this just keeps on going back and forth. And at some point, the recovery vehicle is going to break down, because that's a lot of strain on that recovery vehicle. Trust me, because I've done this stuff. So keep in mind that if one of these tanks or so forth is damaged, chances are the crew is damaged as well. So you're going to need at least part, possibly an entire new crew that is already trained to take over once you get it back to the front line. So where's all that going to come from? Anyway, that's really all I want to cover on the technical aspects. I want to focus on the human aspects. Ukraine has already eliminated their age restriction on conscription. There are already reports of 15-year-olds being, and people up to 60 being on the front lines over there. Let me point out, if you're just sending your elderly to the front line, you're eliminating your culture, your heritage. And if you're talking about right-wing ideologies, well, bye, see ya. But, you're talking about work skills, life skills, traditions, literature, heritage, all these things, appreciation for your culture. When you're drafting younger and younger people, 15 years old, what comes next? 12-year-olds? Anyone that can pick up a rifle? At some point, you're going to have a front line filled with tricycles and, wheelchairs and walkers. But if you're eliminating your younger people, you're eliminating the ability to carry on your own culture, your own population. You're eliminating your future earnings potential at the personal level and the entire national economic level. Then you've got debt, not only for Ukraine, which is going to be in debt for the rest of its existence, but Europe, the United States, all incurring debt, which our grandchildren are going to be paying for with interest, which is going to cost our societies, our social support systems, which are aging with fewer and fewer, with a declining birth rate, to pay for all of this. In the United States, Congress is already talking about, and in some cases already enacting, cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, SSI, all of these things, all of these social support programs, they are freezing or reducing spending on, but they still keep on sending more and more money and weapons to Ukraine. And by the way, the 31 M1 tanks comes after the Ramstein meeting, where Biden promised another $2.5 billion aid package to Ukraine, which brings us to over $110 billion. So, wait a minute. Yeah. So $113 billion that we know of. That's without other expenses going into Europe, going into, wherever. And we're paying for it, and we will be paying for it, and we will be paying for it for the rest of our lives, our children's lives, and our grandchildren's lives, in ways that you cannot count. It's not just the social support direct payments, it's where those payments get spent, which affects our economy. And the European economy, which is being deindustrialized. But somebody's getting paid. It's not you and I, but somebody's getting paid from all of this. Take a look at the value of defense stocks. And when that $113 billion has been in less than 1 year, and every week or two, there's another aid package. I mean, it was less than a week before Ramstein and the M1 announcement. So, in every single one of these cases, Ukraine, Europe, all of the countries in Europe, the United States, you are impacting the economy, the industrial base, the work skills, the social structure of every one of these countries, not just for now, but for generations to come. You're destroying, this is destroying all of it, rather than sitting down and having peace talks. And I'll remind you what I think it was Russian Defense Minister Shoigu said about all these weapons that are being promised to be sent there. He said, they all burn the same. And yeah, they do. So, what is the actual expectation here? At some point, there has to be peace negotiations, which should have happened long ago. They should have been, the ones from 2014, 2015 should have been honored. The one from the agreement from March of last year should have been honored. But Ukraine has refused to honor any of the agreements that they have made. And there's no reason for Russia to believe, if they sit down and if Russia negotiates in good faith, there is no reason to believe that Ukraine or the West is going to honor these things. In every case, our societies, our cultures, our children's and grandchildren's futures are being sacrificed in very real terms. The human cost of this globally, and I'm not even going into the food supply here on the issue, which I've done a number of times, but the real human cost is incalculable. It cannot be measured, but it is severe. And there is no reason for this to continue. There was no reason for it to happen in the first place. And there is no positive outcome to this. I don't care how you look at it. There is no positive outcome for anyone except for the arms manufacturers. Those are the only ones that have a positive outcome to this. Share this video. Talk about these subjects in human terms, because that's how we have to focus on it. You're not just killing off soldiers on the front lines. You are sacrificing future generations and entire cultures across the planet. All right, share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can afford it, please donate whatever you can to help expand this channel and my presidential campaign. And I will catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.